I mean, you got the bodysuits going, so.
Bodysuit season. Downside is when you have to go pee, you have to turn into George Costanza and just get naked.
Is that how George Costanza does it?
Yes. Have you not seen that episode of Seinfeld?
I must not have.
It's a great episode. He gets naked in the bathroom.
Okay, I think I do
Yes.
kind of remember it. And that's why I don't wear my male rompers anymore. I didn't like have to like having to undress fully to go pee. Sumo and block pulls. Dirty girl.
My favorite kind of block pull.
Might as well put a squat suit on. Reverse bands from the ceiling.
I mean, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, whoa. Look, they can never keep me down, I'm going. And if I ever fail, just know I go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they won't tell me it's luck again. See that winning is harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my props. You ain't got no soul, you lacking the spirit. You chop out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I would really hate for you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and win a synonym. So if I ever win again, just know I did the minimum. I didn't have to sell my soul.
I'm doing bridge block only. It's the only kind of program I do now, though. All bridge block all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's a bridge to nowhere.
A bridge. A bridge to nowhere? Uh-huh.
No games with me. It was never about the fame to me. They needed the best, so they came to me. Who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the vibe. Say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang. Ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive. Tell them, yeah, that's me. My girl's so proud of your boy when they ask, is that your man? Yeah, that's me. And if I'm taking a shot, I don't miss. Who knew I would be at the top like this? And no one made my...
I don't know that I'd call that a 10 RPE, but.
Well, so sometimes as I'm warming up, if it feels like it's gonna get tight, I would rather
Do less.
do less and be smart because I ain't getting ready for nothing. My top set was supposed to be a set of 8 out of 10 RPE. We saw it moved like an 8 RPE. I'm gonna go ahead and rate it as a 10 in the app, just because I've been dealing with my back not feeling good and I wanna keep it trending towards feeling great instead of going the opposite direction. Since I'm in Powerbuilding right now in a hypertrophy block, there's no reason for me to rate it as an 8 and get higher back down sets, which would increase the weight, but potentially also even add a set. So by keeping that as a 10 RPE, it only reduced my back down sets to 2 and dropped the weight to 125 kilos versus keeping it at like 135. At nationals, right after bench, my back seized up really bad, which has like never happened to me. Like in a meet, it's happened outside of a meet, of course, but I was just unable to then deadlift. So ended up just pulling a token deadlift to keep my bench record, my master's bench record. So after nationals, I started working with a new PT out of Australia. Her name is Pei. It's out of PB Physio. And she's given me a ton of rehab exercises, which is actually helping me deadlift again, feel pain-free as I'm squatting and deadlifting. Therefore, as I'm going through these top sets with deadlifts and squats specifically, a lot of times I'll rate them at a 10 RPE, even though it's not. This way the system lowers the weight for me, gives me less back down sets because I want my back to continue trending towards feeling good instead of going crazy with higher weights and more sets and reps.
Yeah, the whole training cycle going into nationals, it was always like real touch and go with Marisa's back, and then obviously, frustrating at nationals for her not to be able to defend the title, finish the way we wanted. But to go from, the back room at nationals where you couldn't even do a bodyweight squat, really. Like, she had pulled 65 kilo deadlift to lock in the record, and I remember watching, like as I'm watching, I was like, I'm not sure that she can do this, that she is going to be able to do 65 kilos. And then start working with Pei, addressing some internal rotation deficiencies. There's so much of powerlifting is external rotation and extension, and Pei is getting her to work internal rotation and flexion, like strengthening the spinal flexors has been a huge change, because it was only a week after that, maybe 8 days after, you were back deadlifting like 120 kilos for reps pretty comfortably. So it's been pretty remarkable. So really excited to see how those changes can improve a training long term. Like Garrett's working with Pei now, Meg Scanlon's working with her. So I think there's going to be really something to it. And it's been crazy that, she's strengthening her squat and deadlift by doing basically the ugliest looking squats and deadlifts possible. Knees knocked in, back rounded, hips tucked under.
With super lightweight, of course.
Yeah, very lightweight, but they'll be updating more about that as we go on with it.
My goals for me, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, cause it's the path that God chose for me. So even if some doors close for me, I still won't let y'all close to me. So please step back where you're supposed to be. Put the game on hold for me, and sit back, watch me roast the beat. It's in my genes, I'm better than them, and I know my friends too sick, I got the medicine. I'm way at the top, who can take my place? I went too hard, can't feel my face. Best in this thing, tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the fire, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. Whoa. Yeah, yeah, that's me. Who that chillin' at the top, tell them, yeah, that's me. Yeah, yeah, tell them, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm chillin' at the top.
Let me just
Thank
use
you.
the muscles.
God, thank you so much.
I don't know what you and Elaine are doing out here.
You'll never know. Squat's a little bit wider right now. So in speaking with Pei, when I was squatting, because my inner thighs are really weak, I start to cave over onto this side, which I always thought it's because my right leg was stronger, but actually it's because that inner part of my right leg is actually weaker. So we're widening everything to really focus on putting pressure on the ball of my foot to keep my knees forward longer, because obviously I tend to shift back a lot, and then hoping that that will like really make those inner thighs work, and I'll be able to feel it pulling much easier that way, versus when I'm narrow, I can't feel the pull as much.
Well, and for the internet commenters who are like, I've been commenting for years that she needs to make her stance wider. We've tried to make her stance wider before. She just doesn't listen to me.
Whatever. But it's not even like people think my stance is like so narrow. It's actually just within range of like my hips. And there's been like a lot of gymnasts tend to, if you're an ex-gymnast, tend to squat more narrow stance because of just how we're trained in that sport. We're stronger in that position.
Oh, and like Leah lifts.
Nobody does jumps and back handsprings like this. You're always right here. That gives you the most power.
You've never seen Louis Simmons do a back handspring, so I'm sure that's how he would do it. Well, my takeaway from that is that you listen to Pei and not to me, but.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me. If I said it once, no need to repeat. Run up on me, watch you fall to your knees. Tip my hat when it's time for the kill. Ain't no beast when you're really real. I am the boss, I am the dawn. I am the one they call Lucky Charm. Got my own shit, I don't need your farm. Life was so hard, it made me weak. Built to last, this girl ain't weak. Sturdy and still when I plant my feet. Got it out the mud, now it's racks in my sleep. Look to God, he supplies my needs. Endless faith is what brought me next level prosperity. Silent power moves is what I'm giving. They love to hate the world they can't live in. Always present for the high roads. Go swim within the deep lows.
I hate the pump. It does not feel like you're coming. If this is what coming felt like, I would never do that. I'd be a fucking
You'd be celibate?
monk.
A monk?
Yeah.
Well,
You terrorize the traps.
that's what I deal with. Like, he's never out of character.
I'm a method actor.
Is that what
Like
it is?
fucking Daniel Day-Lewis
Oh, God.
with Powerbuilding.
The future, who knows? I don't do it for the likes, I do it for the love. Do it for the ones who really need a hug, cause they had it tough, never had enough. Feared, loved, and respected. Using words as a weapon. Test and she. Hurry up quick, El Jefe's coming soon. Sit up straight when she enters the room. Be enthused, but don't look too amused. This is her queendom, please respect her rule. Hurry up quick, El Jefe's coming soon. Sit up straight when she enters the room. Be enthused, but don't look too amused. This is her queendom, please respect her rule.
So I dropped my weight on this last set, mainly because even though the last set it was an 8 RPE, I felt like I was starting to shift back on those last like 4 reps, and I'm trying to avoid reverting to like old habits. So instead of just powering through and doing all of the reps shitty, I'd rather lower my weight and make sure that I'm keeping to like really sound technique so I can ingrain that movement pattern. So key takeaway, be smart. The system gives you a range. If it's 80 to 90, you don't always have to do 90. You feel free to do 80 and really make sure your technique is like crisp.
Smile in my face, what in my place, but act gully on pump brakes. Let's be frank, running after him when you're the chase. You are the catch and he's the net. How quickly do we all forget to honor these small policies, my darling? You are the empress queen. Man, respect or he'll neglect. You are the wind beneath his wings. You are the season. You are the reason why this world can breathe. Giving sons eyes to see and daughters dreams to believe. Anything less than
As far as like rest periods between sets, things like squat, bench, and dead, I don't do like a timed rest period because it's the bigger technique sessions, and I want to make sure that I'm rested enough so that I have a decent set. Be within reason. If you're taking 20 minutes between a set, you don't want to do that either. And then to make these sessions shorter, when I get to the accessory stuff, that's when I'll move quicker and I'll time my rest periods because the weight is obviously significantly lighter. So that's how I work my time rest periods for these days, these lower days.
Look at the pain, look at the trouble, look at the grade, look at the hurt, look at the pain, look at the trouble, look at the grade, look at the hurt. Mama tried to tell me stay away, mama tried to tell me stay away. Made some bad decisions, I ain't wanna listen. Made some bad decisions, I ain't wanna listen. Now I try to tell them stay away, stay away.
This is just one of my rehab exercises. So I'm supposed to be doing GHRs, but that's the other thing, I let my erectors take over. So this is just a variation of them from Pay. Really forces me to use my very weak hamstring.
So just to clarify as she's going here, this is not a GHR. Do not comment. Marisa has terrible GHR form. This is a different, a special exercise from the physical therapist.
Yeah.
She's really trying to rotate her hip underneath her to eliminate her ability to use her erectors in this and put all the stress on the hamstrings.
They're really hard. Pay will probably watch this and be like, no, slower, wrong. Getting my Fitspo on.
Try to tell them stay away, stay away. Stay away from that way, please don't surf it, please don't surf it. Hope you listen to it, I say this is urgent, this is urgent. This'll lead you to your grave, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. Yeah,
I hate barbell hip thrusters, so I had Chad buy the booty sprout because I'm a baby and barbell hip thrusters hurt my hips. Plus I noticed it doesn't even matter if I only have like 60 kilos or 80 kilos on there. Like I would end up just trying to use my hip flexors and not really feeling my glutes. So exercises like this, it's not necessarily about going super heavy and having a 400-pound hip thruster for Instagram. It's about feeling the movement where it's intended to be felt. And these bands are actually like 72 pounds resistance, and you can buy more. So it actually can get pretty heavy. And I feel like with this, able to actually extend all the way up and feel the glute over worrying about the bar hurting your hips and only feeling it in like your hip flexors. Plus it makes me look more like a Fitspo, I feel like.
leap away like you Kermit, like you Kermit. All my people carry weight just like it's cargo. Yeah, mess around with them drugs like it's narco. Oh, that will lead you to your death just like it's parvo. Oh, I ain't trying to get.
This is why I have to have a program, because if calves is not written down for me to do, I will 100% skip them over. Hate them.
I ain't care if I would live or die tomorrow. No. Nowadays I shine, I got the star going.
Oh my God.
Call those calves? Mine are more like bulls.
When I'm prescribed the rehab stuff, I'll do it on my off days, but on my training days, I'll swap out exercises that are similar. So my workouts don't take forever, but I can also make sure that I'm doing my rehab stuff. So I'm doing this for my abs for today. And this is again just to help strengthen the lower abdominal area and kind of let my erectors not do as much work. So the band is placed like right where my back typically hurts, which is right here. And as I'm going down, my feet are flat. I'm again tucking kind of my pelvis and crunching down. And then sitting all the way back. Holding and coming back up.
Mama tried to tell me, stay away.
Thank you guys so much for following along with my training today. We'll be posting my training log every other week, so make sure you follow along with that. Check out the JuggernautAI app. There's a 2-week free trial. Go to JuggernautAI.app.